Hello and good evening, Sector 1 fans worldwide. Welcome back to another broadcast from Sector 1. It's been a bit of a break for all of us for the past few weeks. Been a while since the main series events, but we're back and with a bit of a special event for you this evening. We've got two races for you today. The first is a open community event using Mazdas, so jumping away from the community series a little bit, which we'll get into a little bit very shortly. And the second race tonight is the exciting one, the team owners race. So all team owners of Sector 1 will be competing, and they'll be competing with the colours of their team on board with some fantastic liveries as well, which we will go over when we get into that. But first we do have to get into the Mazda Madness race that we've got for our community drivers this morning. We've currently got... Before we get into this, we've got 13 drivers out of 14, so there's space for one more if anyone is out there with a livery ready, about to jump in. You're more than welcome to fill that space, but we do have 13 drivers, so we're going to crack on with things. Tonight, I am joined by R4M_smokescreen for, well, once again, it's been many times now. How are you doing tonight, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. G'day, everyone. It's been great to be invited back. I'm so happy to be here.
And I believe for the second race, we will have Good Doc in the comms box with us. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. You're not also racing, are you, in the second race?
Yeah, I'm having a bit of a steer.
All right, so driver commentator for race 2 as well, so it should be good.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, so the drivers for the Mazda race are currently on the Alsace race circuit. Probably butchered the pronunciation of that name, Smock. Is that right?
You did. Alsace, please.
Okay. Understood. Based in... Oh, which country is it based in?
You see, Francois.
I need these all for you.
Mate, I think we can leave the track stats to me. We are on Alsace Village for the opening of the little practice session we've got here. A lovely little track in France, 5.4 k's in length with 17 turns, elevation change of 57 metres. Only a longer straight of 450 metres, so not too much of an opportunity to practice in this strong slipstream, but it still gets people pretty comfortable, up to speed with the braking and handling of these Mazdas.
So we've had these guys on Alsace for the last 20 minutes or so, but tonight's going to be a bit of a twist. So everyone's in here practicing now, but all they're practicing is using the car because we're going to decide the track with a track vote. Now, both races will be held at the same track, so the first track vote dictates what the two races will be held at. There'll be two 10-minute races with a randomly assigned grid order, so there's no qualifying, there's no fastest first, there's no reverse grid for the first race in any case. The second race will be reverse grid. So it's going to be very interesting for these guys. It's going to be very interesting to see what these guys pick. Smock, do you have any predictions for us for what track you think these guys might get us into?
Look, it's honestly so hard to tell. We've got so many tracks to choose from here, and every single driver could pick a completely different track. I don't know what happens then, but I guess we'll see if that happens. But I would... I wouldn't be too disappointed if somehow they ended up on a rally track. How cool would that be?
They could go absolutely anywhere. My suspicions are that with a room full of Aussies, it's most likely going to be Mount Panorama Bathurst. But there is a large presence from one particular team. I think it was Blacklight that has, it might be 4 drivers in here. For this race, so they might be all in the headset together saying we all got to put our vote on this one track, so they could have something special set up for these guys. And I think Good Doc, you might have been ruminating a little bit before about potential tracks. Were there any disaster tracks that these guys might take us to?
The Nordschleife would be a bit of an issue, I think, just being so long. Special Stage Route X would be boring to watch, but
I think Special Stage Route X could be extremely exciting, but it'd be an interesting.
Only at the end. It'd only be at the end.
We've had FIA races in at our Special Stage Route X in the past, and they have been very exciting. But yeah, you spend the first half of the race. It's probably quite boring to watch, but yeah, it comes right down to the line at the very end. But it's all up to our drivers this evening, so they will be deciding for us. So speaking of drivers, let's go to the track now and have a look at who we've got on track. Won't allow me to switch keyboards. Probably should have set that up before the stream.
Atom, what are you doing, mate?
Some issues, actually. Getting away from Ricky Bobby. I might have to quickly leave the lobby and come back. I will be one moment. Have you had a look at any of the liveries, Smokescreen? Any of the cars looking pretty fresh tonight?
Mate, funny you say that. I actually haven't, but let's go for a bit of a squiz out now if I can work out how to get off this driver here. I think I'm having issues too, actually.
We might have to get him to exit the lobby. It might be a problem on his end.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look here. It wouldn't be a Gran Turismo sports stream without some sort of lobby issues, coming in here.
There we go.
The case. How'd you go? Did you get off him?
Yes, Ricky Bobby exited the pits. He was sitting in his pit box, I think, which locked us on him.
I think you have to do that. I think if they're in the pits and you lock onto them like that, the only way to get out of it is if they exit the pits. So good to see success from that.
Yes, that's exactly what Ricky Bobby has done. So now I can finally go for an adventure up and down the grid and have a look at some liveries.
Should we start with the Moth at the front? So.
Oh, how good's the Aussie Hampton?
Yep, the deep purple, as we're used to seeing. So, nothing particularly unusual about that livery. It looks very standard, as the Aussie Hampton liveries always tend to do. So, gone with traditional colours and just sticking with the usual theme that they do go for. Looks good though. That
clean
that
too.
Really fresh, like a grape purple. Hey.
There's clearly a fresh coat of paint, fresh version of this livery being popped on the car for this race.
Alright, and we'll jump over to Carbon Boy as well. So he looks like he's rocking something that's not team specific. Or is it a Tamar Cars livery? Look, I seem to have spotted the decal on the side there. And what's he got on the bonnet there?
Yeah, it looks like Tamar Cars. Forgotten Island. Yeah. Got a bit going on. Bit of the camo going on.
Camo
I see a Dunlop sign on there.
Any memes on board? That's something also to look out for tonight. I think some people might put a couple of joke images on the cars. But I'm not seeing anything on Carbon Boy's
spotting I'm not spotting anything on this. I mean, we're going to struggle to spot him in the race with all this camo on, eh?
I'm just seeing a floating Tamar Cars logo. There's nothing else in front of me.
I'm just seeing 4 tyres currently spinning into the barrier.
I can actually tell you the influence behind that livery there. That's a runoff of one of Mad Mike's drift cars.
Oh, okay, so has to be Mazda. So they've gone for a replica of, I think it's the Bad Bull, the RX-7 that they used to drive. Yeah, I do recognise it now that you say it. Very, very true. So Barry also running the same livery here as well, in an identical MX-5 to, it was Carbon Boy who was running the same livery, I believe. So I wonder who made that livery. Do we have any insight into that, good Doc? Oh, you made it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's fantastic, mate.
He's nice and humble too. He didn't want to bring it up unless he was asked.
Very good. We jump down to Cruisin', who's driving the Chill Out car. So, looking pretty fresh. So, much like the Aussie Hampton car, the blue really popping out. Nice, shiny
It's got that lovely, lovely depth to it, the blues. The same with the purple.
Yeah, that blue is very nice, and you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Williams eSports cars. They've got a really nice white and blue theme going on for them, and it's much across here as well.
Reminds me of Tim Slade's Cool Drive car for Supercars Championship
I've seen some
last year.
Of that on the old Mustang on the game as well.
Yeah,
see them all over the place.
That is similar hue of blue, also a cold reference with the Chill Out. Just like Tim Slade with Cool Drive.
An AC company, isn't it? Or is it a PC company?
I mean, that'd make sense.
You would think so.
I don't know.
There's actually a very similar sponsor on the Williams eSports cars called Chill Blast, and they're a PC manufacturer.
What's with the blue and the cold? We've got a bit going on.
Okay, and down to the Moth. Who's he representing tonight? So have we already looked at his one? Because he's got the Aussie Hampton.
We looked at them off. I was about to say that was the first one. So. Yeah.
Okay, and we'll move on down to Daz 930T. I believe Daz is a representative in the main series. So he's driving a CP Motorsports car here tonight. So reminiscent a little bit of the Chill Out car with its blue and white theme, but it doesn't quite have the pop of the Chill Out car, does it?
No, it's a little bit more of a more subtle, more sort of matte finish. It's still got a nice shine on it, but it doesn't have that really deep glow that the purple and the other blue car had. But it's still a nice looking livery.
Clearly
white at the back, blue at the
good
front.
Combination of colours. Hey, the blue and the white, very popular. So
Yeah.
seeing a bit of a theme there. Down to Killer on the Loose, who's driving, I know, a red mist entry designed by Womble, so I can, I know the facts a bit behind that one, and it's looking very, very angry, if I'm honest. Nice dark colours. I believe someone was talking about it before. It's gone for a retro look. What have we got on the side there? Can't quite see it. But he's currently sitting on the standings for the practice session.
I'm seeing an interesting decal on the back. Lovely replica of an authentic Japanese number plate. But next to it appears to be some sort of scantily clad cartoon of a policewoman, which is a bit how you're going. Oh no, that's what it looks like from my distance. I could be wrong, though. That's the theme
of Womble's liveries a little bit, because I used to drive for the Red Mist team, and my livery had an image like that on it as well. We'll see if we can go to chase cam and have a bit of a closer look there. There you see it on the left hand side of the number plate. There's a little bit of a. Or I don't know how to describe it without going into too much detail, but
scantily clad.
Have a look at the
hey, look,
well.
maybe he's playing it. Maybe he's playing at the distraction game. Any driver behind him might get a little distracted and miss the breaking point. It could mean the difference.
That's exactly what he's going for. If I'm honest, he's trying to get the looks as Killer goes into the barrier. I'm just having a look at the bonnet here. He's got a list of sponsors down the right hand side of the bonnet, or left hand side, depending on what way you look at it. And a decal on the left hand side as well. And he's gone for a very black and gold theme, which is a bit kind of
cool
of the old Lotus liveries on the Formula One cars.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
It's a good colour theme, isn't it?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Obviously, with that connection to the Lotus car, quite historic colours too.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lotus had the decal on the back though.
No, I'm sure, but they did have, as I think it was James Hunt put it, vulgar cigarette and condom advertising. So it's probably better off this way, I think. In any case, down to Excalibur, who's currently sitting in the pits. Do you want to send a message to the guys on track and just see if we can get everyone out onto the racetrack? Just make sure we get some dynamic shots of these liveries, because we can only look at so much in the pit lane. But Excalibur rocking also a black livery. And what have we got on the side? It looks like it's blacklight themed. So yeah, I'm seeing a bit of the team decals on the side there, but a very dark livery. He's got a bit of chill out sponsorship on the front as well, and some Mazda branding there. So mostly black with some. He's going for the gold as well. Looks like it, or just a light white. I think, on there.
There's a little bit of yellow accenting on the back, on the edge of the boot lid as well, and an RPM logo in the number plate area.
It does look like someone
pretty low key.
It does look like someone put a lot of effort into this livery, though. You can see the texture changes on the side panels, the door panels. There's a lot of different sort of colours going on without really being able to tell. Had a look at Carbon Boy already. Ricky Bobby also in the same Tamar livery. Morgan Davies got something flash going on, but I can't quite see it because he's not on track. And Filthy jumping out on track now. We'll have a look at him once he gets out there. Going for a white colour on his Mazda with a Pineski livery on the side, decals on the side, and black and white. So I salute you, sir. New Zealand colours. Thank you very much. But going for another simpler livery on the grid for this one. It's got more of just a blacked out door on both sides and remaining white with one large title logo.
Definitely a more traditional kind of racing livery, just keeping the car nice and clean, making sure the sponsors can be easily seen, and then just running the car nice and quick.
They're very nicely lined up on the bonnet there as well, that list of sponsors too. So, is there anyone we've missed? I'm just going to have a quick look. I think Morgan Davies is the only one that we've missed. I'll see if I can have a look at the front. There we go. So he's got racing stripes. So the only car on the grid with racing stripes is Morgan Davies. So that's an extra 5 horsepower right there, I think.
They're pretty cool too. With the black... Oh, here we go. He's exiting the pits for us. He's going to give us a nice show. I love the number plate.
He's got a mixed chrome paint job
Yeah,
as well.
almost sort
It's
of-
a colour shift paint, so it looks like different
Yeah.
colours and different lights. So he's gone extremely.
Almost-
That's a risky colour to pick, I think.
What the sort of the multicolored?
Yeah, the colour shift paint is quite risky because it doesn't have a set colour. You can't really theme out your car. It's just a rainbow car. But
I think it's
it
quite
pulls
cool.
it off.
I
Yeah,
think it's
most
quite
definitely.
cool. It's almost got a lenticular sort of, you know, those books where you can turn all the pictures you can turn, and it's got all these ridges, and it can make a different image depending on how you turn it.
Yep.
It looks like that.
And the cushions that you flip them up and flip them down.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it does look good. All I can say, he's got a very brave livery maker. Going for that colour. Like, it looks great.
Pulling out all the
But
stops.
yeah, I suppose he's gone a little bit safe with it because he's gone for that colour and matched it up against black. So you can't really go wrong with black, as we know. So it does look pretty good, although there's a bit of an orange tint on the racing stripes. But like I say, they're worth an extra 5 horsepower, so I think he'll be all good.
Sure, it's not 6 with the orange. It might be
6 with
6.
the orange, or 5 per racing stripe. 5 for the racing stripes, 5 for the orange. I don't know, but in any case, we're through the grid there. So I think now it's about time that we got these guys into their track vote.
I think we see what these drivers want to do. Let's have a go.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so our predictions we had, and I'm not going to vote in this. I don't want to influence this at all.
No.
So there was a couple of suggestions that the rally course could be used. It looks like the guys are being sensible just looking at the existing votes, but someone could really take it crazy. There's no majority so far from what I can see, but we thought that perhaps the guys would go for that all band into something. But often what can happen with track votes as well is that you get a whole bunch of different people voting for different tracks, and you end up just getting whatever the first person picked was, because every track just gets one vote. But to announce where we are going for our Mazda MX-5 race tonight, it is Tsukuba Circuit. So an excellent choice for these cars, I think. Absolutely perfect. The sort of track that you would race these cars around. So a fantastic choice from these guys. I think there were 2 votes from Excalibur and also from 3 votes. Ricky Bobby, the Moth, and Excalibur all voted for this track. So we'll evade practice. I presume we have the grid set by host at this point.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah. We got a random grid
I
set
think
there.
we kick him straight into it. Get him going before they can set
Alrighty.
up. So, race beginning in just a few seconds, allowing these guys no time to practice, so they don't know where their brake markers are, they don't know where they're going to be stopping, they're going to have their work cut out for them this one, I think. So this should be very interesting as we go into the race for tonight. Miata Mystery Box is the title. So how does the grid line up? Bumcrack leads Carbon Boy on the front row. So a random grid order for the guys tonight. Absolutely no idea where they were starting. I think it might have been subtly based on the entry order of the guys. So get rid of the names on the cars. And the lights are out. Oh no, someone's false started. That's Mr. Bumcrack. He's gone too early. He'll get himself a penalty. And that's Filthy, who's gone around him there. Great start from Filthy. Looking back from his car around the outside. He's got 2 cars on his inside. And he's sideways through turn 1 there. A little bit of contact with the Moth by the look of things in the Aussie Hampton car. But Carbon Boy's away in the lead here as we head through turns 2 and 3 into turn 4, the hairpin. So
It was a fairly clean start at the back of the grid.
Oh, we've had some contact for turn 5 and 6. It's absolute chaos back here in the MX-5. Someone's got their hazards on. They're flashing the lights. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what happened there, but the upshot is we've got some cars out the back that really probably didn't want to be there. Ricky Bobby is way off the back of the pack behind Cruisin' and Excalibur. Oh wow, that was something that we probably did not expect to see. So we do have boost on for these guys, and the slipstream is on weak, which means it's extended back to nearly 2.5 seconds. So these guys do have a lot of opportunity to catch back up. They're not out of the race yet, but that would have been extremely frustrating early on. We'll jump back and have a look at the replay now at what happened back there. Oh no, I don't have a replay feature. I've run out of space. We're not going to have any replays tonight, unfortunately, folks. We've got no space to save them. So we are out of luck, unfortunately. So we're going to have to just do our best to keep up with what's going on. There's contact between Lenosis and Filthy by the look of things for P2 and 3. And someone skipped away there as well. It's Carbon Boy out in the lead. They're 2 wide, nearly 3 wide through the hairpin there. Once we've settled down a little bit, we're nearly 2 minutes into this race. It is a 10-minute race for these guys. So it is a sprint. I don't believe tyre wear and fuel wear are on. Are they, Smokescreen?
They are not, no. Tyre wear off, fuel use off. No need to worry about that.
There's a big incident back at the back of the field there. Killer on Deleuze went wide, and there's contact into the hairpin as well. Nearly missed all of that. What was going on there? Ricky Bobby and the Moth have had major contact into the hairpin. We jump back up the front. The battle for P2 is raging on, and Carbon Boy has absolutely run away with it. Someone who we might have expected to see more from is Morgan Davey. He's a front runner in the top category here at Sector 1, and he's currently sitting in 4th place, so he's probably looking to work his way up to the front. Nearly a little bit of contact there with Filthy. Now that we've settled down into the race a little bit, Smokescreen, although settled down is probably the understatement of the day, what can you tell us about Tsukuba Circuit?
Oh, beautiful. Tsukuba Circuit, a nice little club circuit in Japan. A little bull ring, this circuit. There's a lot of turns in such a short distance. You might look at the turn number being 9 and think that's not crazy at all, but given the length is only just a little tiny hair over 2k's long, with 9 turns in there, you got a lot of turning to do. Longest straight, only 445 meters running up the back of the circuit. So even though slipstream is on weak there, the straight is not that long. The straight is not that long at all. First built in 1966, and we are racing in the current form, which was introduced in 1990. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is Tsukuba Circuit.
Steeped in history as well. There was a Japanese motoring show called Best Motoring, where they tested out all of the classic 90s Japanese cars here at Tsukuba Circuit, and they used to drive around absolutely crazy Japanese drivers, mad talented, and it was just fantastic to watch. I don't know if you ever saw any of that, but it was some really awesome content. Back to the action though. Carbon Boy now 2.25 seconds ahead of Morgan Davey, who's made his way up to 2nd. So starting to show the form that we expect to see from him. A top end of Category 1 in the Sector 1 Championship. Back in P3, Filthy is under pressure from Lenosis on the way into the 2nd hairpin. Turns in on Lenosis a little bit there. Oh, nearly gets his rear bumper chopped off by Lenosis there, but luckily Lenosis was clever enough to back out of that and make sure they all get through safely. As they come to the sweeping right-hander, important to note about this straight, so Smokescreen mentioned, you said it was 440 metres long, I think.
Yeah, that's
it's followed not by a heavy braking zone, which is what you normally expect to see from the longest straight of any circuit. You want to see a heavy braking zone at the end of it, so it makes it a good opportunity to overtake, but it isn't really, because it's followed by a sweeper. So if you find yourself on the inside, you may find yourself with an advantage, but it's not really that much of one, and you can hang it around the outside there.
There's multiple lines around there too, of course. You can come in wide and get sort of square a corner and get the power on the exit of the corner, or you can go in narrow and get the power on the sort of on the way into the corner and try and get the move done before you even finish it up. So, you know, differing lines through there, which gives a defending driver an opportunity to defend that position.
Yeah, big dive from Lenosis there into the hairpin, and Filthy sideways on exit as well. He's under pressure from Berry now too, the second of the Tamar cars. Speaking of Tamar cars, the one in first place is under massive pressure from Morgan Davey. So we know how quick Morgan Davey can be on his best day. Is he going to attack Carbon Boy into turn 1? It sure looks like it. Late on the brakes for Morgan Davey, down the inside, hugs the inside, doesn't allow an opportunity for a cutback by Carbon Boy. They're very close on exit, but Morgan Davey makes the position and gets it done.
There's also a nice little 3 or 4-way battle brewing down for P6. It appears now Mr. Bumcrack leading this little battle pack we've got sort of hotting up here. The most racy of two being Excalibur and Daz. They were fighting sort of to no end coming into turn 1 for that 8th position there.
Well, we know it's no holds barred when it comes to Excalibur's driving. He's a very aggressive driver with an aggressive driving style, and he will not hesitate to go for a move on you if you open the door to him. So you've got to be very careful when you're driving around him. So a lot of cars right within range of each other here. I spot about 6 cars here that could potentially be set to change position. There's 3 cars, nearly 3 wide into the sweeper at the end of the track. Still 2 wide for Daz and Cruising on the inside of him in the chill out car, and 2 by 2 they go down the straight as well. This is amazing to watch as they head into the first corner. A lot of contact on the way in there. There's Excalibur barging his way through. As we said, an aggressive driver, not afraid to go for it. The door was open and he put his car where it needed to be. Oh, he's turning across. Daz there. Daz finds himself on the grass, and Excalibur's into the side of Cruising, who goes round. Disaster for the chill out car. Oh no, he's way back now. Gets back on track and picks himself up. Nearly 3 minutes to go in this race. The boost is on, so there is an opportunity to catch back up. Big sideways moment there for Daz, but they head back up the field. There is an opportunity to make something of this. Back up the front, Carbon Boy is still within range of Morgan Davey. There's a lot of opportunity here because we've got boost on weak and we've got slipstream on, I believe it's strong. Is that correct?
Strong indeed, yeah, very, very strong, in fact.
So he can definitely stick with Morgan here, thanks to that. It looked like there was a big disparity in pace there, but Carbon Boy making a fight of this. He's going to make something happen here. We have a look back.
I'll tell you what else is interesting too. The lap times that the leader's 102's, fastest lap of the race, 58 seconds. So that's the boost for you.
Yep, and that currently sits with Cruising. So when you're at the back of the field in a race like this with boost on, you find yourself setting the faster lap times thanks to the assistance of the boost. And that's why Cruising's got himself a 58.6 there, while the leaders are only setting just over 1 minute lap times. As Excalibur's off track there, perhaps someone repaying the favour for the attacks that were made earlier on track, finds himself forced back to outside the top 10. We'll look back up. Morgan Davies still only half a second in front of Carbon Boy, so it's still going on here. And the battle for, I don't know, all of the positions is going on. The Penezki's car is off track. That looks like the Moff, I think, down in P11 now. So he's gone wide at the sweeper. We missed what happened there. There might have been contact. We don't know. But it's looking pretty hectic in this race. It's, what'd you say? It was a mosh pit. Someone was calling it a mosh pit.
Oh, mate, I think that's probably the best description I've heard all day for a race like this. It's really difficult to try and keep tabs on exactly what's going on, because you look one way and you all of a sudden have a 6-way battle the other way.
Yep, it's getting pretty hectic, but now we've got Killer Andalus and Filthy down, a wee way down from the pack, but with that boost enabled, we're probably going to see them chomp out some seriously quick lap times over the next couple of laps. You see the pace they're putting down in a straight line now with that extra little bit of power, allowing them to catch back up. The gap down to 2 seconds now as the drivers in front of them fight their way through the last hairpin. A lot of cars on that back straight right now. It's looking pretty dicey for these guys. Is anyone going to go for a move into the sweeper? No. Although Daz goes up the inside of Jim Bob there. A fantastic move as Jim Bob goes a little bit wide, but Daz is wide on exit. You can extend the track there a little bit onto the AstroTurf, but you may have gone a little bit too far as the Penezki car in the background goes way off into the wall as well. Maybe not accounting for the boost quite enough, but they're too wide into the first corner here. Mr. Bumcrack in P7 now with a whole lot of cars on his rear bumper. He's going to be very careful how he approaches the coming corners. Bit of contact there from Excalibur as well on the way into the second hairpin. It's all kicking off back here in the midfield for these guys. Who's going to come out with a top 5 position? It is a reverse grid for the second race as well, so this is really going to mix things up for these guys, especially with Morgan Davey and Carbon Boy starting at the back. This is the final lap for these guys as we head down the main straight towards the last sweeper. It looks like Morgan Davies going to hold on to this one. There's half a second back to Carbon Boy. He seems to be pulling out the same amount per lap. Carbon Boy a little bit wide. It looks like Morgan Davies going to take the checkered flag first for this first race of the evening. Slides it across the line. Loves a bit of loss of traction action there for Morgan Davey. Third will be Barry after Carbon Boy. Lenosis, Ricky Bobby, Cruisin' and Bumcrack 7th. Jim Bob, Killer, 9th, and Moff rounds out the top 10. I could hardly keep up with what was going on there. It was absolutely crazy for these guys. And Excalibur all the way down in P12 after all that action that happened in the mid-pack, in the mid-stages. Wow. How are we going to dissect that one?
Oh, mate, there's going to be a lot of replay analysis after this one here. Look at Morgan Davey there, up 11 spots to bring home his win. And I will also say, unfortunately for Daz, having a incident on the last corner of the last lap, which brought him all the way from in that battle pack that we focused on for a little bit, down to, unfortunately, finishing at the back.
Oh man, I've worked up a sweat from the commentary there. It was so much energy required to keep up with that race. It was just kicking off from start to finish. The guys were untouchable. I couldn't really tell. We didn't really talk about it too much, but the guys obviously might have taken a lap or two to figure out where their braking markers and things were for this track. Do you think that came into it a little bit with the carnage that took place?
Oh, absolutely, because you've got several factors there, because you've got no practice on the track. I think we most recently drove this car in FIA on the racing tyres, so maybe everyone's frame of mind was more geared towards driving on the racing tyres, or of course on the sports toes today, which obviously don't provide as much grip. You've got some drivers with the boost, some with no boost, some with slipstream, some with boost plus slipstream. Your braking points are going to be pretty much different every single lap.
Every time you hit a corner, it's going to be a different braking point. Well, we'll get these guys into a reverse grid setup now for the next race. So that's going to switch things up with Morgan Davey again starting way off the back. So up 11 spots in that one. So he would have started P12 maybe?
Yeah, he was right near the back. I think you commented halfway through the race about, he was sitting in P4 and we expect to see a little bit more from a driver of his caliber. And look at that. He listened to you, Atom. He's got the broadcast up and he's listening to your advice. How good's that?
We're doing it for motivation, but yes, a very fantastic job showing his mettle and proving why he is a Cat 1 driver here at Sector 1. So he'll probably be licking his lips going into this next one with the boost on maximum with him at the back. And looking to jam out some positions early on, get himself up there again. So I think he might be the hot favourite to win it yet again. So we'll set these guys going for race number 2 now. Another 10 minutes at the same track, but a reverse grid.
All right, beautiful. I think we set them off.
All right, and a couple of notes from chat as well. The lady on the back of the Red Mist racing car is supposed to hypnotise the opposition, but not the driver. So hashtag fail on that one, because unfortunately there's a little bit of distraction going on there coming from the Red Mist box. So very good. Note to self from said livery designer: put scantily clad lady on the bonnet next time. Okay, so he's learned. Very good. Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We've had one driver not enter. We've had one driver not enter Ladocious, so I think we are going to have to red flag this race to give that driver a chance.
That's all right. We can do that. We've got plenty of time. That's all right. Not entered. Very interesting. I wonder why that might be the case. There might be a reason.
Oh, I'm getting word from race control. There should be another track vote. So we should be going to a different track.
I was just about to jump in and say that, boys. Make sure you get them to vote for the second track.
Okay, so we are changing tracks. All right, so that's...
Yeah, reverse grid, but another track vote.
Very good. All right, we'll get these guys out of the race then. Red flag for our drivers. Looks like a bit of carnage just based on the map in any case. So the guy's not too worried about it, but we'll get them on another track vote and we'll see where they take us. So now that we know where they've gone for the first race, do we have any predictions as to what the next one will be?
I do, actually. I was keeping track of the track vote choices of all the other drivers in the previous race. Dragon Trail Seaside actually got a hung vote. So there were 3 votes apiece for Tsukuba and Dragon Trail, and the game chose out Tsukuba for us, so we might see Dragon Trail.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see probably no votes for Tsukuba for the next one, so that could really change things up. So that's 3 votes that will go somewhere else. But Seaside, always a popular choice in the track votes, particularly because it's right at the top of the list. So it's one of the first ones you see, and you go straight to click it if you're impulsive. So we might have a couple of guys like that in this one. But 3 votes last time means it's probably going to be the main choice for this one, unless there's a couple of guys in a party chat somewhere going, hey, let's pick this one, and rig the vote, as it were.
Fingers crossed for Fisherman's Ranch, am I right, everyone?
It'd be great to see. Imagine a rear-wheel drive MX-5 driving around a track like that.
Would it leave you on the sports tyres, or would it force dirt tyres for you? I think that's quite interesting.
We'll get into the track vote now in any case. I think the guys are ready to go. They don't need to be entered for this one. They can just jump straight into the track vote. So here we go. So we'll keep the viewers in suspense while we complete the track vote. So the votes are starting to come in. We've got 20 seconds left in the voting period. Votes look to be scattered all over the place a little bit. Oh wow, there's a couple of funny votes going on. It's looking a little bit hectic.
I like this.
It could be dangerous. I think I know where we're going, but oh my goodness, it could be. Wow.
You are absolute. I cannot wait for this.
Alright, team, everyone who's watching, drop your messages in chat. Have a guess at where we're going next based on our reactions. Where do you think it is? It could be any track in Gran Turismo, but you can probably tell that it's somewhere a little bit crazy. Get your messages in. Let's see what you got.
Where'd they go?
Oh, wow. We'll drop it in there in a second, but I'm going to wait for a couple of predictions to come in. We'll see where the guesses are. It looks like Good Doc said Rude X.
I put that in the Discord chat saying they won't do it.
Well, I don't know if you're right. Are you right or are you wrong? What do you think? Rude X from Womble.
I wouldn't mind a bit of Rude X.
Rude X would be great.
I wouldn't mind a bit of Rude X action.
Yeah. All right. I think the time has come. We'll get you guys over to the main screen, and here we go. The drivers have chosen the Nürburgring 24-hour layout. Wow.
Oh,
and it was a landslide as well, wasn't it? It was like 5 votes or something, wasn't it?
Oh, 1, 2, 3,
Those guys
4,
at the back of the field with boost on this track, they'll never stay on the road.
It could be crazy.
I mean, we've been at this track for Daily Race C all week, although they're in the Group 4 cars for the Daily Race, so I guess if you're a daily racer, it may not be the most unfamiliar track of the week, but it's still going to be an absolute handful given all the dynamics of today.
Yeah, it is. And I think the crazy thing might be, I don't know if this is going to be the case, with a 10-minute timer, if they get around within the 10 minutes, then they're going to have to do a second lap.
I wouldn't mind seeing a second lap. Oh, look, I'll be surprised if they get it in under 10. I will be surprised.
I will too. I think an N300 car like this, 300 horsepower MX-5, it's a quick little car, but I don't think it's that quick. Although the Group 4 cars do get around here in about 9 minutes, I think. I don't think this is quite Group 4 spec, but it's close. So they might be cutting it fine.
We're up in N300 today, not in N200 with this, what this car drives out of the garage with. We've tuned these cars up, so maybe we're a little bit quicker down the straight. I don't know, if someone can scamper away out the front, which would be hard to do with the slipstream and boost, maybe they can trigger a second lap, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It'll be difficult because if only one driver crosses the line for the second lap, they'll be the only one that has to complete it.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Well, let's kick it in the guts in any case before they get onto the Northern Loop and get these guys going on this monster of a race that it's going to be. I don't know who voted for it, but it's, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
25 kilometres. Let's go. 170 turns with 300 metres elevation.
Yeah, it's up and down as well. There's a lot of elevation change on this track, so it could be...
I think elevation hardly does it justice. Undulation, just relentless undulation.
And the quick important thing is as well, Morgan Davies now going to have his work very much cut out for him because this track is notoriously difficult to pass on. So I think he might struggle a little bit, if I'm completely honest, from the back there. And the other thing
I don't think he will.
Good Doc's confident. The other thing is, if anyone's going to do a 10-minute lap round here, it's going to be Morgan as they head away. No traction control there for them off, as you can see. A little bit slidey on the start.
Morgan will be in the lead before they get to the Nordschleife.
Whoa, fighting words. Let's have a look at him already. He's already up to P8. Oh, he's on the outside of turn 1, so he's let them all through. He's back down to P13. So I wonder if that's a redress from tapping someone, perhaps. But he's allowed people.
There was a little bit of side-to-side contact. There's a little bit of side-to-side contact from another driver in the braking zone, and it just edged him onto the sort of the dirty part of the circuit. just beyond the white line, and he couldn't quite get it stopped. That's what happened there.
Okay, well that's all right. He's back on it, and he's back in P10. But that might have put pain to Good Doc's prediction there that he'll be in front by the time they get into the Northern Loop. But like I was saying, if anyone in this group is going to set a sub 10-minute lap, it's going to be Morgan. He's got to start from the back, so he's going to get held up by other drivers, regardless of what he does. So I think the chat and others might be right when it comes to the. There's a lot of action going back there. Actually, someone's around at the back there. Who have we got? It's Jim Bob. Jim Bob's absolutely lost it, and he can't straighten the car up either. Ricky Bobby's slowing down. Looks like a redress from him as well. As they head round lost count already. Don't know enough about this track.
We're not going to bother about the turn numbers, I don't think, for this one, because there's 170 of them to get right. Good sportsmanship from Ricky Bobby as well, letting Jim Bob go then.
Lovely to see in an event like this. That's what Sector 1's all about. So, Filthy now we're on board with up in P2. Following Daz through the open chicane, as some call it. He slowed down quite a lot there, and that's allowed Lenosis through. He takes full advantage of Filthy's lack of practice at this track. You could tell that he was being very cautious on the way into the chicane, expecting to see the GP layout as Cruisin dives through as well. Wow, Filthy's getting absolutely bullied here as they head onto the Northern Loop, but that puts him down in P4, which might be an alright position to be in for him. Cruising on the grass there, 4 wheels, might have dirty tyres now. I believe actually, I don't really want to bring this up for you, Smoke, but you had a bit of a bad experience at this track the other day.
Oh dear. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for the opportunity. No, I did. We're going to be looking for around the later part of the circuit, around Ice Curve, Flants Garden, just after all this twisty section after the carousel, for what I like to call the dip of death. If you dig deep enough into that gravel trap, you'll find a couple of BMW M4 components, along with my hopes and dreams of 280 points in FIA.
Oh, that's brilliant. We missed while you were explaining that. We missed Daz 930 making a massive track cut in the opening stages of the Northern Loop. As we come through here, someone dives up the inside of Filthy there. 2 cars go through at Flugplatz there. Over the top of the hill. I know that corner name. It's one that sticks in my head because it's got a funny name, and also the carousel, but we'll get to that later. Filthy now down to P6. The guys up in front of him, they're nearly 3 wide as they head down the straight. We've seen overtakes happen here before in the World Tour Series, and Morgan Davies slots in ahead of Berry and Daz there. There's a car wide in the background. There's 2 even as they come through.
There's 3.
Wow,
There's 3.
that was absolute carnage. There must have been contact there somewhere. There's cars off in the gravel there as well. The wipers are going on Killer's car. It's absolute mayhem here, I think, for these guys.
I tell you what, I was on board with Filthy when that all unfolded. No contact from Filthy, just simply lack of practice. Just underestimating just how light the car was going to get over that Schwedenkraut's left-hander over a crest.
You see how low the car's getting to the ground. These guys going into the wall. They don't know how slow they need to go for these corners. This is the beauty of no practice. You get these guys in here, they got no idea, and it shows that you really need to spend some time on all the tracks. As Killer on the loose goes straight into Morgan. Morgan gets reset back onto the track. That'll put him down near P10. It is in P10. Someone else has tried to cut it as well, and they've been reset too. It's absolute carnage here. Morgan now in P10 after making his way up to the podium positions too.
I tell you what, they've given themselves an absolute hell of a track to try and get a lap down with no practice.
Yeah, and it's coming to light very quickly who doesn't drive the Nürburgring, because it's a track that a lot of drivers are afraid of, including myself even. That I don't really come here very often, and in FIA I don't think I've ever done an FIA race at this track, and we've been here for FIA many times.
See, look, I like the Nürburgring apart from one corner.
Is it the one we were discussing earlier?
It's the dip of death, yeah. How did you know? How did you know?
Long story, but yes. Lost BMWs and M4s buried in the sand. But in any case, Morgan makes his way through on 2 drivers. He's looking to the outside now of Mr. Bumcrack. Mr. Bumcrack forces him nearly wide. Morgan has to back out of that one. Back up the front, Berry is now 2.3 seconds behind Cruisin. Cruisin's absolutely disappeared on this one. I wonder if he's maybe a Nordschleife expert. You do get a couple of those, don't you?
Some people just love the track. They just do laps and laps after laps. And I think Berry made a little bit of a mistake in that sort of very, very slow section called Versiphen. Made a little bit of a mistake through there, and the gap just opened up to Cruisin a little bit. But of course, We do have the nice strong slipstream there, so Cruisin' is not out of the
He's
woods
pulled
yet.
back a lot of time there, has Berry, so that slipstream really coming into effect. I just have to go back to that corner name or section name, the Siphon. What a name that is. They really know how to name stuff in Germany, don't they?
Well, I'm probably saying it wrong too. It's probably more like Wir Siphon. You know, if I'm going to put a lovely German inflection on that, but you know, with my semi-bogan Aussie accent, we're going to just go Versiphon. I know the W is a V, so we'll do that.
This is exciting though. Berry has gone round the outside of Cruisin' there. He had more toe than a Roman sandal up the hill there through the Bravery corner, and now Cruisin' settles into P2 behind Berry, but it could be roles reversed around the next section as they head towards the right-handed hairpin. Next up will be the carousel after this one. There's an indicator on there for Berry as well. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if he turned that on by accident, but something's going on for these guys. So they head through down this, I would call it a straight, but it's very weavy along there, into the carousel for the first time, and probably the only time. Only 3.5 minutes left in this race, so I think it's just going to be a one lap of death for these guys. And now they enter the handling section of the track. There's not really any power sections from here on out until they get to the final straight. I forget the name now. God, I should know this.
Final straight, Dottinger Hohe.
There we go. Yeah, I should have known that. I probably would have.
Do we know how long the straight is?
I'm sure you'll tell us.
Bit of trivia. Oh, I'm sure I will. 2.135 kilometres.
So how does that compare to Special Stage Route X again?
Special stage, mate, 12 kilometres. 0.000 to 3 decimal places.
So it's nothing on the testing track, but it's a very long straight. It's a great opportunity to pass. So I think what's going through Cruisin's mind right now is probably I just need to stay in range until I get to the Dottinger Hohe.
What is the slipstream range here with the strong
slipstream?
What is it estimated?
Is effective to about 2.2 or 2.5 seconds. So if you're within 2 seconds, you're safe. And with it being on strong, as soon as you settle into it, it really pulls you along and you start absolutely motoring. So if Cruisin's within it when they get onto that Dottinger Hohe, I think it's going to be curtains for Berry.
I'm just gonna look away for this corner.
I'll put them in. Oh, there we go. That looks good in onboard view.
I'm fine. I'm all good. I'm okay. I'm all good now.
Well, there's a lot of sideways action here for Berry up the front here as he heads through. So he's keeping it a little bit loose. That indicator's still on. I wonder if that's distracting Cruisin' a little bit.
Yeah, that can be a distraction tactic you can use in this game. We have full control over our indicators and blinkers. You can do all sorts.
Wipers as well.
You can turn your hazard lights on even. Wipers as well.
We saw wipers going on Killer on DeLuce's car a little bit earlier. Quickly looking back now as we wait for those guys to head around the Dottinger Hohe. The Deeds car of Morgan Davey is still sitting in P4. He might have an opportunity to chase down Lenosis on the back straight, but I don't think he's going to be able to get any higher. Down further, Ricky Bobby is with a 0.3 second penalty, which he'll probably just burn at the end. Filthy ahead of Carbon Boy, Mr. Bumcrack. We've probably missed a lot of action back here, but it's been all go up the front end of the field for most of this race. Daz 930 P9 is really struggling with the no practice side of this. Killer on Loose with the wipers going still through the final carousel is still ahead of Excalibur down in P11. We head back up the front. Berry is now behind Cruisin'. So Cruisin' got by at some point, but they're weaving all over the track. It's getting pretty crazy here for these guys. Jump on board with Berry. He's going to go for a move here. The strong slipstream lets him through. What's going to happen now? Is it going to be a stalemate, or is Cruisin' going to drop back and get the slipstream once again? It looks like he's tucked in now. He's got one more opportunity to pass. He's got the overspeed. He bumps Berry, so he can't quite get past. They go through the left-hander into the final braking zone. Here we go. Cruisin's going to look to the inside. It's reminiscent of the World Tour at the Nürburgring only 2 years ago. They're side by side on exit as they come towards the finish line. There's a bit of contact with the barrier. Berry's still within range. The slipstream could help him. They drive to the line. The indicator's still going. They're going to be side by side as they cross the line. Who's going to take this win? There's less than a tenth between them.
I'll tell you what, the race is going to keep going here because the top two cross the line with 3 seconds to go. I think, did Morgan Davies sneak in another lap as well? Along with Lenosius, they're all still racing. Mr. Bumcrack is the first one to take the flag.
Wow, I did not see that coming. And we did talk about this before the race began. But
We've got another lap. We got another lap to go here. We're in for a treat, aren't we?
This is a shocking turn of events. So Morgan will be absolutely stoked he made it through. He's got a second chance at life now here in the Deeds car. I was getting so hyped for that finish there for these guys.
It's almost like an elimination. We're watching a real life elimination.
It's brilliant. Wow. So they cut it so fine that they ended up going for a second lap up at the top 4. And the rest of the field's finished. So Bumcrack down in P5, he takes the honours for P5 there. Ricky Bobby P6, Filthy P7, Carbon Boy P8, Daz P9, Excalibur P10 made his way up from P11, overtook Killer onto Loose, who we talked about his livery before, looks fantastic. That Lotus spec livery looks fantastic. The Moth, and Jim Bob's still going on the main straight. I think he's just mucking around, so give him some TV time. He refuses to cross the line. Absolutely refuses. I wonder if he thinks that the guys are all waiting for him. They're not, mate. They've got another lap. We jump back on board with the leaders.
No, I'll tell you what Jim Bob's going to do. He's going to wait for the leaders to come around behind him on the track, and then he's going to cross the line in first. Big brain.
So it's all action at the front again. Cruisin' and Berry seemingly inseparable on this track at the moment. But they've got company from Morgan Davey and Lenosis there. Lenosis falling off the back a little bit though of Morgan Davey, but he's done well to make it onto the second lap here for sure. Got a penalty to burn as well.
Berry's still with that indicator on. I think what he's trying to do there is just give him some sort of distraction. We talked about this before, but what really happens is that a driver around him looks at the indicator, just go, why the hell you got the indicator? I'll just turn it off. Just turn it off, mate. But then while you're looking at the indicator, you're not looking at your braking point. So we can quite quickly see how a mistake can indeed develop from the indicator just simply being on.
Yep, and it might be affecting Morgan Davey right now, I don't know, but anyone with a little bit of OCD in them will really struggle with watching that indicator, because if you got that indicator on, you're not sticking to the right side of the track, you know, no good. That's going to throw some hands.
I can say I'm struggling with it too. I think in a supercars race this year, I'll post a bookmark on that. There's a move happening at Flugplatz. Berry up the inside as we head over the rise. The car gets very light. Heading through this fast right-hander out onto the long straight. Berry is able to get that position done, but he just gifts the two other drivers slipstream, so this is extremely interesting. Heading through Schwedenkrautz, over the left-hander, over a crest. Let's see
they're going to go
what
side by
happens
side here as well. They're nearly 3 wide.
They're going to go 3 wide.
Over the crest of a left-hander. And Morgan goes up the inside, takes advantage of the two of them squabbling, gets himself through. Lenosis is still there as well. He's been drawn back into this by the squabbling that these guys are doing around the outside for Morgan. Around the outside of Cruisin' there, and they're nearly 3 wide again. They're side by side though, and Berry's going to be the one to profit here because he's the only one with a slipstream bar Lenosis. They're nearly 3 wide again.
This is not a place to go 3 wide at all. You don't even want to go 2 wide on an ordinary occasion.
This is absolutely insane. This is fantastic television. Look at these guys go. And all on track still as well. Wow. They made it through there. We saw a lot of incidents in the first lap for a lot of guys through there as they head through the chicane here. So Morgan now leading the way, as we expect to see from him. Can he pull away though with the boost as it is and the slipstream as strong as it is? Big Deeds Racing logo on the back of the wing there, looking good.
I'd say he's probably going to struggle to pull away here because he's only got the 4 drivers behind. There's no other drivers in the mix to try and balk the 3 behind. So they're just going to get the slipstream. As long as they avoid a mistake on their own driving, it will be very difficult for Morgan Davey to take this one out. And correct me if I'm wrong, did we see, was it Berry and Cruisin'? Did Cruisin' overtake Berry on the back straight and then Berry got back past? Is that what we saw?
There was 3 exchanges of position total. Because obviously with the slipstream being so strong, it pulls the driver in the back through so early. Or there's contact with the wall there for Berry. That mistake could drop him out. But like I was saying, on that Dottinger Her, the driver behind, no matter how far back they are, they're going to catch the driver in front very quickly. And there's still going to be a lot of straight left for the other driver to retaliate. And with that strong slipstream, they can, because it's strong enough to pull them along yet again. So that you get a double and even triple slipstream, as we saw on the first lap. And it looks like Cruisin' and Morgan are pulling away from Lenosis and Berry. This could be curtains for the two of them as they're side by side back there. We'll have a look at that now. There's a penalty there for Berry, who's still got his indicator on. Lenosis and P3 still got the slipstream of Cruisin' in front, so they're not out of the woods yet, but it's still a dangerous section, and they're They're just about falling out of it. 1.5 now, so they're all right. And just a word on, obviously, Cruisin versus Morgan as he's right on the rear bumper there. Look at that, almost pushing him up the hill. I think he is pushing him because that's all he can do right now. He can't go past. Cruisin has also made his way into Cat 1 for Sector 1 on a couple of occasions from memory, so he's definitely got pace underneath him, and he can definitely take the fight to Morgan here, especially with the advantage of the boost and the slipstream. So this could be a real fight that it comes down to at the last part of the track, and I think if they're this close now, they're going to remain this close all the way to the end. Look at that, Lenosis closes right up on the way to the Bravery corner. Looks fantastic through there. They're all over each other. There's a bit of a sideways moment there for Berry, but he settles back in. Still safe here. Cruising a little bit wide. Oh, Lenosis looking up the inside. He's on the grass. Is he going to go wide at this corner? This could be danger. He's gone wide. Is he going to stay in it? He has to. He has to do something here to stay with these guys. He'll have dirty tyres, but he's still within range.
We shouldn't write anybody that falls out of the slipstream off. We shouldn't write them off because the boost will still take effect. The boost may sort of kick in for that car out of the slipstream as, it looks like Berry's unfortunately gone around.
And so's Lenosis.
And what's that? Lenosis has got distracted and's gone into the barrier
distracted by watching the indicator in the barrier. So it might be down to 2. There's 5 seconds between Cruisin and Lenosis now, so I think that might be over. I know the slipstream's on, but the boost is on rather, but it can only do so much for these guys. It's quite a large gap as well, and the drivers still have to account for it. If they end up braking at the same spot, but they've got boost, they're going to fly off the track. So, yeah, definitely, it's going to be a tall order. Even with all the little tools they've got to assist to close that gap, I think, it looks 6.5 seconds at this point is going to be quite a tough task, a tall order to try and close down to these top 2. This looks fantastic though. These cars look absolutely amazing flying through here, and Morgan is really putting on a show. You see how sideways he's getting through here. It looks absolutely fantastic. Morgan's a big fan of the old drifting. Oh, it looks like he gets sideways there. Oh, he's nearly lost it. He's showboating so hard right now. He's doing everything he can to just about to throw the race. So, but he loves a bit of that, and we saw it from him in the Willow Springs round earlier in the season as well. He jumped on some soft tyres excessively early. Oh, here's your corner, mate. Sorry, don't look. He jumped on soft tyres extraordinarily early, and they wore out. But because he's so comfortable on low grip situations, he absolutely smashed it and ended up winning the race. It was just a winning strategy. So still on top of each other, these guys here. There's nothing to separate them. What can Cruisin do? He's going to be within range onto the Dottinger Hoa. There's no doubt about that. But has he got his tactics right? Has he learned from the first race, from the first lap rather, what to do when he's this close to another driver?
It's going to be interesting to see because do you want to enter the straight right up their trumpet, or do you want a bit of a margin? Do you want to use the whole straight to catch up your distance and then get the overtake done right at the end? As it stands right now, he's 4, we'll call it half a second behind him. I think there's definitely a real chance of him overtaking Morgan and then Morgan having enough straight length left to get the re-overtake done. So we might be looking at this thinking Cruisin's got this wrapped around his finger. But he may not. Let's see exactly what happens here. There's currently a 30km/h overspeed. There's a bump draft. They're bump drafting. That's interesting.
Here we are then. We're on the Dottinger Hoa. This is where the move has to happen. And I thought Cruisin might employ some sort of different tactic here. And he does appear to be doing that. As they come down the straight, I thought it might be the best case scenario to hang back deep in the slipstream and go off the throttle to hold the gap and then attack at the final moment. But it looks like he's going to the outside. They're going to be side by side into the final sequence of corners. He hasn't quite played it right here, Cruisin. They're going to be side by side, and Morgan gets his nose in front. Cruisin's still there though. He's going to force him wide again. It's reminiscent of the 2019 World Tour. Cruisin sideways on exit. There was a little bit of contact, but I think it's all fair racing. Is Cruisin going to cross the line first? Let's have a look. It's very close as they come to the line. Morgan's going to have a look. Oh, it was so close.
Look at that. 61 thousandths of a second. That's the gap. Oh, it may not be the official gap. That's the last gap update we saw before they crossed the line.
It'll be even closer, I think, because he was still closing. He had that slipstream on the main straight. Lenosis in third, Berry in fourth. What a race that was. You know, we laughed when they chose it, but wow, it really brought out a fantastic race, didn't it?
Oh, certainly. I'm so glad I was able to have an opportunity to commentate that. I have the final gap as well. 57 thousandths of a second, 0.057.
That's fantastic for these guys, man. Absolutely insane. What a race, what a drive, what a win for the driver. It's a fantastic job for cruising. Morgan Davey in second, of course, and Lenosis and Berry managing to get onto the final lap there as well. So a great job from them. They almost stuck with it, but they couldn't quite hold on. A couple of mistakes creeping in, and I think that blinker really turned it down for Berry.
I was gonna say in the race, I didn't quite get an opportunity to say it, but there was a race in a supercars race this season. I think it was Will Brown had his left indicator on the entire race, and every time the camera went onto him, I just cringed because I'm just like, can't one of the mechanics tell him to turn it off? But no, he left it on. Maybe he's employing some Will Brown tactics there.
It might have been the case, yeah, as well. And obviously, it just shows how realistic Gran Turismo Sport is, isn't it? The same thing happens in real life.
I mean, you know me, I love a bit of indicator action.
Yep. Indicator, hazards, headlights, everything.
Oh, I love it.
You need to map your wipers on, mate, I think.
I've got the wipers mapped on. Got them on. I just tend not to use it. I'd say
you just want to start turning them on at the beginning of every race while the grid's being lined up. Probably the best way to go. Make it a habit.
Some cars, because I use hood view, the top of the wipers sneak into the bottom of the screen, which I'm fine in the rain because realism in quote unquote, but otherwise, if it's just dry, I don't really want that extra unneeded distraction.
It would make you cringe as you're doing it. It's alright if you're in bumper cam or chase cam, but yeah, I can understand if you're...
couldn't imagine.
There. But no, thank you very much for your help, mate. It's been fantastic to have you in the box tonight. An amazing job with the stats for the tracks and everything this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Oh, likewise. It's always great stepping in when I'm needed.
No, good to have you. We move on now to the team owner event for the evening. So tonight the team owner race is in the Group 3 Mustang, and they are driving around the Autodrome Lago Maggiore West circuit, a Sector 1 favourite. So cutting off the first half of the GP circuit here, and just making it a right-hander instead of a left in the early stages. Heading down the back straight towards, some people call it Big Banky Boy, in Sector 1 we call it NASCAR, and then through the final sector back to the home straight. So there's been some fantastic racing here at Sector 1 in the past at this track, steeped in Sector 1 history, so hopefully we'll see some more tonight. It is a bit more of a casual event, of course, but get your team colours out, show your pride for your team, and let's get amongst it. I'm joined for this race, of course, by driver commentator Good Dog.
G'day, boy. How are we?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Coming off a high for the last race, I think. It's been really good. So hopefully this one lives up to the same thing.
Yeah, well, he's hoping. Everybody's ready to rock and roll, so I'll set us off for some quick qualifying.
So a qualifying session of only 5 minutes for these guys, isn't it?
It's only going to be a hot lap sort of deal.
One lap. No tyres and fuel for the race as well?
Nah, just a straight up sprint.
Alright.
We whack a lap in, go racing. I believe the booster's on weak.
Good stuff.
So very similar to the MX-5.
Any notable absences?
The Lucky's lawn kick car is missing from the grid tonight, unfortunately, so no Lucky.
Oh no.
But everyone else is represented, so every other team.
I'm sure Nux will race in his in spirit for him as well. Bring him with him onto the track. So while the qualifying's going ahead, we won't pay too much attention early to the times being set. We'll have a look at liveries instead. D-Flow on track, and oh, hang on a minute, the order's changing. It doesn't want to make up its mind. Here we go. D-Flow in second here, on track at the moment, driving the chill-out car. We saw in the first race on the MX-5, behind Excalibur. There.
Oh, Lucky's just joined the room.
Okay.
Hang on.
So,
red flag.
Red flag.
Otherwise, he won't
get
make
him in.
the race.
No worries. We've only just started, so I think we can afford to do that. That's all good. So it will be a 5-minute qualifier for these drivers tonight, driving the Group 3 Mustang. So a bit of a left-of-field choice, something you don't see people driving too often, but a fantastic sounding car and a fantastic looking car as well, as a lot of people will agree with. as we get the guys red flagged. 30 minutes of racing for the drivers after the qualifying session. Similar settings to the MX-5 race, although slipstream has been reduced to weak. So still effective up to 2.5 seconds, but not as strong as the strong slipstream, which is effective to the same distance. And we'll see the guys not being pulled along quite as aggressively by that slipstream.
Yeah, the drivers actually requested that it got turned down after doing practice earlier with it on strong. They didn't like it. They think it was too aggressive, especially going down the hill into NASCAR.
Yeah, I think it was great in the MX-5 race, especially at Tsukuba. It didn't actually affect them too much. Just helped them down the straight. It wasn't, pushing them into any moves or anything like that. But yeah, it is quite an aggressive one to have. And in a fast car like the Mustang, and a fast in a straight line, it's gonna cause them to potentially have accidents. So it's things you see, but it's all good. We've resolved it, taken it to week, so I think we're going to see some fantastic racing. There might be some use of the slipstream in qualifying as well, although we know that that qualifying isn't necessarily going to affect the grid too much with the boost on, as we saw in the MX-5 race with Morgan Davey coming through from the very back of the pack and winning the first race and a second in the second race as well. So the boost obviously good for a lot. Need to get these guys off track, I think.
A couple of these guys that have forgotten what exit means.
Would have been a good opportunity to go through the liveries, but we'll see what comes of it in a moment's time. Get your predictions in the chat, everyone who is watching. Who's your favourite TO? What team are you here to support? And who do you think's going to win? Even if it's not your team owner that you're particularly supportive of, let us know who you think it's going to be. Have you got a hot pick for this one, Good Doc?
I'm not sure actually. Probably based on pace, probably Stickers or V8 Falcon maybe.
Okay, not looking to Lucky for this one.
Well, I don't know what Lucky's pace is like. I haven't seen him race this car before, so. But you'd be hard to go against one of the Super Cup Group A guys.
Yeah, anyone who's in that Cat one, as
field.
we saw in the MX-5 race, they're a different caliber, aren't they? They've got some serious pace on them. So how many guys have we got in here that actually have made it into Cat 1 before? I think we've got Lucky, Karen, NASCAR, if I recall correctly. V8.
Yeah, D-Flow, Stickers,
D-Flow,
V8.
How could I miss D-Flow?
Karen. Yeah, most of those guys are top category at some stage or another throughout their career.
Speaking of D-Flow, there was a little bit of an Easter egg on the last race on one of the MX-5s. The number plate had D-Flow on it, even though it was not driven by the man himself. So that was quite a funny one. All right, so we get back on track.
Let's try that again.
Here we go. Qualifying is underway. 5 minutes for our drivers. Chill out car, driven by D-Flow out the front of the field. Looks fantastic. Much deeper blue colour as opposed to the MX-5 we saw before. A little bit more of a traditional livery for the chill out guys as well. Looks much like their usual stuff on their category cars. Down in P2 now, Pruski, as he's also known Wide Hips quite often times in the Obsession Motorsport car. It's a little bit of a change in colour scheme here. So we've got black, orange, fluoro orange, and green.
So that black, red, and green. So that's the Castrol Perkins livery, which is actually a throwback to Pruski's original Thruhouse livery when he first started racing with us way back in the day.
Oh, nice! It looks good, really good. We have a look at Good Doc, who's driving a Penske livery, very similar to the MX-5 we just saw in the MX-5 race. So a little bit of uniform going on there. Love to see it. Womble and P4 there in the green beacon car. So that's also gone for the Lotus colours that we saw in race 1 of the MX-5. That looks fantastic. Very aggressive looking car, as are all of them. But he's matched up the headlights and the fog lights with the livery theme as well, which looks absolutely fantastic. He's got a cheeky Easter egg, lovely lady on the back bumper as well, very similar to the first car. Different lady though. And we drop down to NASCAR in the Team 53 car. Orange, black and white, so also another little bit of a retro spec for him as well, as he gets held up by Womble through the first sector. Must have been a mistake there for the green beacon car. Jump back to Dadson in the Bacchus racing car. That is a fresh looking livery. I like that one. It's very similar to what they usually run in the main series, but they've changed the gold colour. It's much more bright and much more reflective, I think, for these guys. So it looks really good. Shizer currently sitting P7. Looks like he's getting overtaken by someone as well. Jim Bob, I think, in the CP Motorsports car. Jim Bob, of course, in the CJ Sports car. So that looks really good as well. So that reminds me of the old Shell liveries, if I'm honest, a little bit, the red and the white. But I don't see any Shell decals on it, so I'm going to assume that that's not what he was going for. Excalibur down in P9. We've seen his already, the blacklight car. And then I think the Lucky's Lawn Care car, looking like its usual self with the black, white and green. Karen down in P11 in the Deeds car with a red coloured livery. V8 in a retro looking Auto 1 car. And I've missed whoever the last one was. I think it was the Moth, yeah it was, Aussie Hampton. The classic purple colours as we saw on the MX-5 in the first race. So looking absolutely good, absolutely fantastic. That dark purple, we were talking about it before, looks fantastic. So first representative lap times, Stickers leads the way. And he's in the Lightning Motorsport car. We haven't gone over that one yet, but that looks fantastic. That's actually in the thumbnail of the video. Hot tip, if you haven't checked that already, the thumbnail does feature a picture of the Lightning Motorsport cars being used tonight. D-Flow in P2 in the Chill Out car. That dark blue looks really good, I think. It's a little bit different to what they usually run colour-wise. I think it's a bit darker than the usual, but looks fantastic. It might be the same, actually. I seem to recall the Alphas looking very similar to that. Half a second back now to V8, who's running the Retro Auto 1 car for Ragged Edge. So we've seen a livery very much like this before in the Retro BMW Sprint Round on the M6. It was a white base colour with the similar blue and red on the car. It looks absolutely fantastic. Awesome colour combination for the car. It looks fantastic. Karen currently sitting P5. No real change to the times for the leaders up here. D-Flow does not improve and get himself ahead of Stickers. These guys are going to have one more lap to get around. There's 25 seconds left on the clock, so the guys at the back will also be able to go around again. So everyone's on their final flying lap, more or less. D-Flow out the front, all by himself. No slipstream for D-Flow. He's going to see what he can set all on his own. He's only got 100th of a second to make up. We'll see what he makes in the final sector. Crosses the sector line. We're not going to see what he's setting right now because we don't have the information on screen. Comes through the final corners. Big, heavy car, this one. Hard to handle through these sections, but he handles it beautifully. D-Flow usually much more reserved for the mid-engine cars. Big fan of those. But looking pretty solid in the Mustang here. He's got great pace. So we jump on board here, coming to the line, picks up a little bit of dirt on the exit. He does not improve. No improvement for D-Flow, so he will remain second at best. Stickers coming to the end. A couple of cars across the line. There's no improvement for any of them. Looks like everyone's set their best on the first time around. Someone's gone into the wall there. Karen goes to a 19.8. That pops him up to P3. Fantastic job there for Karen. A couple of cars still coming across the line. The Aussie Hampton car, not able to improve. V8, also not able to improve. There's one car still on track. Let me find it. We have to scroll through all the cars. Oh, here we go. It's Womble. In the red mist car, the green beacon livery. Heading through the final sector. Can he improve? Comes through the final corner. You look at this very tricky corner to get right. You got to carry the correct amount of speed, but it's very common for the guys to go a little bit wide on exit. Looks like he wasn't too worried about him beating his time that time. So weaves across the line, not too stressed about it. Stickers leads the way then as we head into the TO race. How'd you feel, Lucas?
Yeah, about where I thought I'd be.
Flash of the lights from the drivers on the grid. Stickers leads D-Flow, Karen and NASCAR on the second row of the grid. And our driver commentator, Good Doc, down there in P8, right smack in the middle. Pretty good place to be, I think. Saw some carnage in the last race in the MX-5s. Are we going to see more of the same here from our team owners? I don't think so. I hope not. I think it could be a great race here as we head away. The lights are out. The drivers go racing. Looks like Karen's made a move on D-Flow early. A great start for him. D-Flow seemingly a little bit slow off the line. They're nice and clean through turn one. Looks like a bit of too wide action back there, but no one getting too crazy with it. Looks pretty good as they head through. Oh, someone's off track there though. Down the back. Weren't quite able to pick it up, but drivers head through single file up through the middle sector, or to the sector line rather, as we look for a move for the lead here. Karen has gone into the lead ahead of Stickers in the Lightning Motorsport car. D-Flow sticks his nose up the inside, but he's not going to go for anything there. We know that Karen's a fantastic driver here. We've seen great races from him before. It all came undone due to fuel, I think, last time he was here, which they don't have on. Pretty normal Deeds behaviour to be stricken by fuel in a race, but nothing to worry about in this race for him. So we might see a first win for Karen here in the TO race. We head through the final sector, looking really good. These cars really look the business, especially with these fantastic Sector 1 liveries. We come round to the final corner and finish the first lap here. Coming onto the straight is a little bit wide for Stickers. He's still right on the back bumper of Karen though. Is he going to go for a move? It doesn't look like it. Stickers to the inside. Is he going to look for it? You can hang it around the outside here. Karen cuts the nose off. Fantastic job there from Karen to have the spatial awareness to do that. To the inside goes Stickers. Is there going to be a lead change? He's got the inside for turn 3 as well. Gets the move done and settles into P1. We had a wide moment there from a driver at the back too. Shizer took some grass on the exit there. I seem to recall a certain V8 Falcon doing the same thing in a previous event here. I think back when we were driving the Ferraris here at Sector 1. We're nearly 3 wide here for P8. As they head to, they're 4 wide. There's a bit of a latency problem there though, and there's contact between a lot of drivers there at the Big Banky Boy, or NASCAR as they prefer to call it here at Sector 1. Up the hill they go. There's a lot of cars, one on top of the other. Look ahead now from Shizer. A bit of contact on the rear bumper of Dadson there. He won't like that. He probably worked very hard on that paint job. Looks to the inside. A little bit later on the brakes than Dadson in front of him. Womble dropping back. Comes to the inside. A little bit of contact between the two drivers. But he gets through. Womble settles into P11. Is Shizer going to go for a move at the last corner? It looks like Dadson might. Brewer cuts the corner right at the last second there. Doesn't allow Dadson through. Wide hips living up to his name well and truly. Here we go down the main straight. Wide hips to the inside. Dadson stuck at the inside there. 4 wide on the way down to turn 1. Dadson goes through. There's a bit of ghosting going on there because there were so many cars in one spot. And someone's round. Someone's gone round there. Looks like it might have been Dadson. I think he's off in the grass. There he is. But it's not all over yet. 26.5 minutes left. With boost on, it's still all to play for here. As we look up the front, Karen now P2 following Stickers. NASCAR in P3. D-Flow falling back to P4 in the RC Double L car. A little bit wide there for Karen as they head through the centre S's. We jump on board Stickers. Looking back at Karen, a menacing Mustang back there. Holding it together nicely though is Stickers through this final sector here. There's a little bit of pressure there from Karen, but he's got a little bit of breathing room here as Karen's wide through the final corner. That's going to allow NASCAR an opportunity, but a little bit wide there for Stickers as well on exit. That slipstream just pulling Karen away from Stickers there. He couldn't do anything. It looks like D-Flow was looking for a move there as well. It's all on for the lead here as these guys come through here. There's 6 cars, one on top of the other. The top 6, Stickers, Karen, NASCAR, D-Flow, Lucky, and V8. Some of the best drivers Sector 1's ever seen battling it out in the team owners race. Who have you got? Whose back do you have? What's your favourite colour? Give me something. Who's your favourite driver? Who do you know? Karen might look for a move here, down to NASCAR. Looks to the inside, gets the move done. That's the second time he's done that in this race. Well practiced. Up the hill they go. Stickers is going to be on the outside, but he's very close. Tucks back in there. Still ahead of NASCAR, that's where he wants to be. NASCAR's gone up the inside of Stickers there. We just about missed that. Goes for a late braking move into the final sequence of corners. Stops it on the apex, goes a little bit wide on the exit, but he's done very well to hold that position there. As they come down a little bit wide there for D-Flow, he's on the grass there, maybe forced out there by another driver, but these 6 are inseparable right now. Looking back from the Deeds car of Karen at NASCAR. NASCAR looks to the inside. He more or less has to because Stickers is right there. He can't not defend against him, otherwise he's going to lose position himself. So he's forced to attack Karen, but Karen managed to keep it cool through the first sector here. Keeps it together. NASCAR still in P2. Stickers sitting P3, but he's looking racy. He wants to get up the field here, it looks like. But he's doing a fantastic job now here at Lago Maggiore. We've just had a stream drop, but hopefully we're back and good to go. It looks like it's back up on my screen here, so I think we are all good. We look at V8 now. In P4, he's made mints of D-Flow here up in the final sector. Looked like a mistake there from the RCLL car. Still in slipstream range of Stickers, NASCAR, and Karen, as NASCAR goes for a move up the inside into turn 1. A little bit of contact there with D-Flow and V8 there. There might have been something going on. We're not quite sure. And D-Flow's suddenly fallen off the back here, so I think something's gone wrong for him there. Apologies for the stream drop, everyone who's back now. We have been having some trouble with the Streamlabs operating system recently, but we are back. If it does drop again, it will come back. But just keep your eye out. We've still got a fantastic battle going on there. The top 3 are going at it hammer and tong. NASCAR into the lead. Fantastic amount of space there left by Stickers on the outside. Sweeps around the outside of NASCAR there on the way up the S's. That is an amazing move from Stickers there, the Lightning Motorsport driver. Carbon Boy in the chat, my favourite driver is Pruski. The fact he's my team boss has no influence at all. No, that's good. That's what we like to see. Thought this was a TO race. This is indeed the TO race. We've currently got Stickers for Lightning Motorsport leading the way. NASCAR for Team 53 in P2. Karen for Deeds in P3. Troy or V8XW Falcon in P4 for Ragged Edge Racing. Sorry, nearly mixed up my sponsors there. Karen goes to the inside of NASCAR there. These guys are pulling absolutely no punches. D-Flow follows this pack as well. He should be about to get on the back of these guys very shortly with this boost, helping him along. Stickers has pulled away here though. Carbon Boy says, on a side note, go Stickers, don't let Karen win. Some sort of bias going on here. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he just doesn't like Deeds beer, but something against Karen here. Down in P4 now, so he's lost his lead and he's going backwards a little bit. D-Flow's still trying to catch up to the group. Stickers doing a fantastic job out front. There's a big pack back there though for P7, 8, 9, 10. These guys are 2, 3 wide all the way up the hill. We have a look back from Excalibur. Look at that. That's an aggressive thing that you do not want to be seeing in your rear view mirror. Excalibur and Womble side by side. Prua rather side by side with Excalibur. A little bit of contact there. It looks like Prua might have gone off track there. Excalibur also follows him off. Couldn't see who made contact with who. And it's still going on. Excalibur and Jim Bob still going at it. A little bit of contact there. Looks like latency making it a bit more severe than it actually was as well. Can't really tell from this angle. But it's all kicking off back here for these guys. We look ahead from Excalibur's car. As we see a penalty burn from Shizer there down the straight. A little bit late on the brakes there. Goes ahead of Womble. Takes one position. Second position being taken here from the Moth on the way through turn 2. That's one and one and a second and 2. Stays side by side with the Moth there on the way through turn 3. Can't quite get the move done. He's just about in front. They're going to be side by side heading through here. This is not somewhere you want to be side by side. These cars are very understeery. It's a dangerous place to be doing it. Someone's going to end up in the barrier, but they both make it through somehow. And it looks like the Moth has the slipstream of a car in front of him. They're 3 wide into the hairpin. And it looks like the Aussie Hampton car has come off track. The Moth is in the gravel, and now he's in the wall. So he's having some real trouble there. Back up the front with the leaders. Lucky in P3 behind NASCAR and Stickers. Stickers still leading the way, but not by such a dominant margin as he was before. Karen looks to be falling off the back a little bit with a 1.2 second gap to V8 ahead. And D-Flow in P6 hasn't quite managed to catch back up to the drivers in front. He's only 1.5 seconds behind Karen, so he is within slipstream range, but he can only do so much. We look back now at Pruski, wide hips. He leads a pack, and what position other than that would we ever expect to see Pruski and wide hips making the car as wide as possible? The defensive master of Sector 1 looking fantastic in his car as well, and look at that, showing his class. Keeps P7 through the first section of corners. He's got a bit of trouble here from Dadson though, manages to keep it. That defense is absolutely astounding. Very well done to him. Jump on board with Jim Bob here with a 0.2 second penalty still on board behind Womble, who goes for a move on Dadson, who's lost a bit of speed on the straight, and we're side by side here between Jim Bob and Shizer as they head through the hairpin. Sideways for Womble. Looks like there was a bit of contact there. That's gone seriously wrong for the Red Mist Racing driver. It's absolute carnage here in the midfield. Very similar to what we saw in the previous race. And now the good doctors come to join the party. These guys are going to have their work cut out for them if they want to keep him behind. We jump on board. Up the inside of Jim Bob there. Sticks his nose in, puts a little bit of pressure. Can't quite unsettle the CJ Esports car, but he's looking very aggressive. Goes late on the brakes into the final corner. Fantastic drive up the inside and gets through. Now he's into P10, into the top 10 positions, but he's got a lot of pressure from Excalibur and Jim Bob behind. They're not quite close enough to go for a move here, are they? It looks like Excalibur's going to go up the inside. Good Doc's going to hold it around the outside. Fantastic job, and 2 cars have gone wide in front and gifted them positions. Wow. What a stroke of luck. Shizer now to P7. And down to P8 as Good Doctor makes his way through. Down the straight, that's not where you want to be. You've got cars behind you fighting for your slipstream. They potentially go for an attack down to the hairpin. Cuts to the inside, trying to break the toe. How many moves can we get? He's done 2 so far. Comes across and gives the slipstream to Shizer by the look of things. Going to allow another car to come into the mix, but up the inside goes Jim Bob. Not Jim Bob. Is that Excalibur? It is. Someone's into the wall. There's a couple of cars into the fence. There's been disaster. And Good Doc's into the wall. There's redressing going on up the field as well. A couple of cars seeming to feel they're at fault for that one. Slowing down and allowing them to catch back up. Karen's back down to P11 now. He's had an issue. Jim Bob waiting for Good Doc by the look of things. Womble heads through into P12. Takes that position back. Jim Bob's parked it up the top near the final sector here. Great sportsmanship from the team owners here. V8 down to P10 now. Something's gone wrong up the front of the field that we've missed, unfortunately. And we found V8, who was up in P4, down in P10 now. Followed by Karen, who was in the top 3, I think. So the upshot is, Lucky leads the way, who wasn't even part of this pack the last time we checked. NASCAR in second, Stickers in third, and D-Flow, who's caught the pack now, is in P4. So he's got an opportunity now to sort something out for himself. They're nearly 3 wide into the hairpin once again. I don't know how many times I've said that this evening, but it's probably going to keep happening. They just keep fighting away here as they head up the hill for the 11th time. Nearly halfway through this race now. The top 4 have squirreled away from the drivers behind. There's now 11.5 seconds between them and the next pack. The boost might be able to help the other guys claw their way back, but these guys are super quick operators up the front here, and it's going to be hard pressed for anyone to catch them up at the stage of the race and the pace that they're going. Currently setting a 1:15.5 on track is Dadson further down the field, but that is courtesy of the boost, of course. We don't know what sort of times the guys at the front are setting, but you know for sure they'll be damn fast. So NASCAR leads the way here as they come through the first hairpin. They're too wide behind, and Stickers drops back to P4. The previous leader has found himself relegated out of the podium positions. They come down the back straight, deep in the slipstream. They're all one on top of the other. It doesn't look like they can do much here. We look back from NASCAR here as Lucky goes through. D-Flow goes through. Up the inside there for these drivers. They're still too wide through the hairpin. NASCAR manages to hold P2 there behind Lucky and ahead of D-Flow. It's exactly what he needed to do there. They drop a bit further back. Look at the packs in the middle of the field. Excalibur a little bit on his own here, but he's got Prua for company behind him, who has remained in 7th after all the action took place, ahead of Karen. So this could be a very interesting moment for Karen here, because we've seen how aggressive Karen can be and how good of a racer he is up the front of the field, but with the defense of Pruski, there's a big dive there from the Moff. He even goes off track there, so clearly coming from a bit too far back. Karen finds himself sandwiched between Womble and Excalibur, and back behind Womble now. Womble goes a little bit wide on exit there, picks up a little bit of grass, but he's alright, stays on track. A little bit of a toe brake attempt there from Prua as they come down the straight, so hoping to stay back as far as possible. Big lunge from Womble there, goes up the inside of Karen. Fantastic move there from the Red Mist driver. He holds the outside, gives plenty of space on the inside, and there's Excalibur as well in the group now. He's just been overtaken by Prua up the inside of that second corner. Must have been a mistake through the first sector, and side by side now for Karen and Womble as they come onto the back straight. This looks fantastic. These Mustangs look amazing. Look at the way they move on track. The liveries, they flash as they head down over the crest through the sun down towards NASCAR. Karen goes by, gets himself up to P8 here. The comeback is on for the Deeds driver. He's got Excalibur in sight now. Prua in front of him. Prua's the one that he needs to get by, because he's the one with the defensive skills to make him work. Looks to the inside. Is Excalibur going to defend? No, he lets him through. A little bit of contact on the way through, but that's alright. That's just good hard racing. Gets through nice and early. Looks like a bit of an attack back there from Excalibur, but can't quite make anything work. Karen finds himself now in P7, and he's got Prua in his sights. That's the one he wants. Once he gets past Prua, it might be all on for the Deeds driver. We jump back on board. Down the straight here. Main straight to start lap number 14. 12 minutes to go for these guys. We're probably only going to see about 6 or 7 more laps. Maybe more, I think. I could be wrong, actually. V8 sets the fastest lap of the race with a 14.9. Prua having a little bit of trouble with his tyres there, getting a little bit sideways on the exit of turn 2. And now, deep in the slipstream, Karen, can he catch up? 5 tenths to make up before he gets to NASCAR. Is Prua going to be safe? Prua will defend, you can just about guarantee it. When does he try to break the toe? Heads over the crest in a straight line. Very important when you're over that crest not to make a move too aggressively, because that's where, funnily enough, it lines up just right, that crest, with where you really want to cut across and go for a late move on a driver coming into that corner. But because you're going over that crest, your front wheels lift up and you actually find you have no grip on that section. If you try to turn there, you'll just keep going straight. I've found that a couple of times when we've raced here in the past in the Red Mist Racing M6. When we drove here, I went for a move on someone, and the front tyres lifted up and I had no grip, and the car flew to the side when it finally gripped up. It was scary and exhilarating. Interesting position to be in, but these guys will be experiencing much of the same in the FR cars. We have a bit of an incident back there for the guys down in P9, P10, P11. You're having a bit of frustrations there, good dog.
Yeah, every time I get into the pack I get pummeled.
Yeah, it's a bit messy in the midfield there, and we got a lot going on here between Excalibur and Womble as well. It's on tooth and nail between these guys. We jump on board with Womble here. Both cars with a slipstream now, so probably no real opportunity to go for a move at NASCAR. But we've seen Womble go deep on the brakes before. Will he do it again? I'm sure Excalibur knows he's there. He knows he's coming. You see that front end lift up. Look at that. Late on the brakes for Womble. It might be a little bit too deep. There was contact there with the Bacchus car, and he gets forced off as well. A return serve from another driver, perhaps. We don't know what happened there, and we've got no replay, unfortunately. But the bottom line was that was most definitely too late on the brakes. He was going for the aggressive move, but misjudged it slightly, and into the back of the Bacchus car there of Dadson. He remains on track, managed to get away from that scot-free, it looks like, so very lucky for him. This pack's really closed up now, though. Prua leading the way still. Although Karen's got past, we've missed the overtake. That would have been the overtake of the night. You can just about guarantee it. It would have been out around the outside, surely, for Karen there to get through, but he is through nonetheless. And now goes in chase of Shizer in P5. Looking messy back here on the outside. V8 pushed a little bit wide. Excalibur there experimenting with the grass as well. A lot of cars too wide back here. It's getting pretty crazy. Good dog now all over the back of Dadson here. Side by side, Dadson's going to have the toe of the car in front, so it's not going to be working for him. You look at the front bumper lift up off the ground there, the wheels with no grip as they head down the hill there towards that corner. Absolutely insane. It's not something you can understand unless you really experience it firsthand. Side by side now on the outside is Good Doc of the Bacchus car. Can he make something work? Gets forced onto the grass just about. Holds around the outside. He's going to stay ahead of Excalibur by the look of things here if he does this right. And he gets the inside for the left-hander. Stays behind the Bacchus car. Well held there from Good Doc in P10. We jump up with the leaders of the pack. P5 Karen. Shizer's fallen back into P7. We've missed another overtake. It looks like Excalibur going for something back there. Down the inside. Big lunge from Prua. Can't get anything done. But they're nearly 3 wide back there behind Jim Bob. Let's have a look here at what's going on. We jump on board with Shizer. They're still 2 wide. Dadson on the inside of Excalibur. Good Doc finds his way through. Takes advantage of the scuffle. Shizer doesn't have quite the pace in a straight line. It looks like Dadson's going to go for the move here. Up the inside. Good Doc's going to go to the inside too. They're 3 wide as they come down. Nearly 4 wide with the cars in the back. There's contact between Excalibur and whoever was on the outside there. I think it was Shizer. It was Shizer. And he's fallen back to P14 there. Moffin 13th. Excalibur P12. And Womble back up to P11. So another recovery from Womble there. He's not going down without a fight, that's for sure. Dadson on the inside of Good Dog here, tussling it out for P9. Up they go on the inside of Troy there. Troy forced to the outside, gets hung out to dry, drops back a couple of positions. Into the back of the Bacchus car there. 6.5 minutes to go just about for these drivers. Bit of clear air now for the Good Dog. He's got a little bit of space to move, but a lot of pressure behind. There's 3 cars, 3 wide there. Menacing sight behind, and Excalibur's wide. Possibly a little bit of contact there once again. Up the inside goes... What? I don't know who that was, but they ended up in the wall. The Jim Bob in the red and white. A little bit sideways there for Good Doc as well. Onto the grass, but he holds position. He's got the slipstream, so that might benefit him down the straight enough to keep him ahead of the drivers behind. Anyone pulls out of the slipstream behind him, they're not going to have that lack of wind resistance that he has himself. To the inside goes Womble. Up the inside, can't quite make it work, and he gets absolutely bullied by the drivers behind him and swallowed by the pack. And Good Dog gets away very nicely there. A little bit of extra clear air there. We have a look at Karen, who's trying to chase down the leaders. Lucky now with a 10-second gap to him. It looks like it's not going to happen for Karen. He's not going to be able to catch the guys in front of him. D-Flow leading the way. It's been another lead change that we've missed up here for this pack. Looks like it's been some fantastic racing for them though. We jump on board with D-Flow, looking back at the wing. The big branded Mustang on the rear wing as well. No title sponsors here. We just state the name of the car we're driving instead. Looking back at NASCAR, that bright orange car, the orange and black, looks very menacing. So this could be really freaking out D-Flow here as they come down the back straight. Deep in the slipstream is NASCAR, 4/10 to the car. Is he going to get close enough down here? You see the front lift up over the crest there. Late on the brakes, closes right up onto the back of D-Flow, and through NASCAR they go. Still one at a time. They come up the hill. D-Flow leads NASCAR, Stickers and Lucky. What can the Lightning Motorsport car do? First season as a registered team in Sector 1. Really staking a claim, currently sitting in the podium positions. They've had a fantastic start to the main season this season. That's just been and gone the last couple of weeks. Of course, talking about the main season, we haven't had much chance to talk about it tonight, but with the existing stalemate on track, it might be a good opportunity to talk about it. We have been on break from the main season for the last few weeks as everyone's enjoyed their Christmas and New Year's, but next weekend we do return to our regular scheduled programming for Category 1 at Spa-Francorchamps in the Porsches. So, an exciting track steeped in history that a lot of guys will be hanging out for. There's been a lot of time to practice for these guys, so it's probably going to be a fantastic race. Hopefully not quite as much contact as what we're dealing with here tonight, but the season has been fantastic so far. It's been close racing up and down the field, and if you've missed it so far, make sure you get amongst it for the upcoming race this weekend. Back to the action at hand. D-Flow still leads the way. Narrow margin over NASCAR in P2. In the red, black and white Team 53 car. Looking very aggressive there in P2. Stickers in P3, the Lightning Motorsport car. And P4, Lucky for Lucky's Lawn Care Racing. Not a derived name at all, I'm sure. Challenging for the podium. So, a four-way scrap as we come around to start. 3 minutes to go here on track. Probably going to see 3 more laps from these guys because it's about 1 minute 20 apiece per lap for these guys. If Pruski beats Karen, says Carbon Boy, I'll buy him a case of Great Northerns. Okay. A little bit of a beer rivalry going on here, something like that. There's a bit of action going on at the front though, as Stickers takes advantage of an attack from NASCAR on D-Flow. Up the inside he goes, manages to take that position. A great move there from Stickers, taking advantage where others faltered. Lucky all over the back of NASCAR now. He's really put himself on the back foot here with that early move. As they come down the straight, the slipstream benefiting all the 3 drivers behind. When does Stickers pull out? Is he going to pull out? Looks like he stays behind, doesn't fight the move too much. NASCAR into the side of Stickers. There's big contact, and Stickers is round. That could be race over for the Lightning Motorsport driver, and a redress from NASCAR as well. He's not too happy about that one himself, so he's going to redress and wait up for the Lightning Motorsport driver. More great sportsmanship from the Sector 1 guys, but that reduces it down to 2. Lucky versus D-Flow. There's now 2 seconds between them after that incident, so it might be curtains for the Lucky's Lawn Care Racing car, because we know how quick D-Flow can be, but with the boost on, there is still an opportunity here. He's not quite in slipstream range, or he might just about be as he comes down onto the straight, but he's got a lot of work to do here if he wants to get this back. Down the straight we go. 10 seconds back to Karen, so that gap has more or less stagnated after the earlier stages. And with NASCAR and... who did he take out? I'm starting to forget now. Looks like they've fallen back. It was Stickers, wasn't it? So, Stickers has fallen all the way back to... oh, I don't even know. I can't find him on track. There we go, P5. So he's gone ahead of NASCAR now, and they can fight again as they are on track. Now, when it comes to redressing, there is an important issue that it brings up when it comes to the actions taken. Of course, the drivers who redress is a great sportsmanship thing to do. To get themselves back behind. But the question is, that often arises from redresses, is how quickly after you've redressed can you go for another attack on the driver in front? Because you can be very sneaky with a redress and allow them just past again, and then go for an attack at the next corner immediately after. We'll look at the action there though, back at the in the mid-pack here, through the NASCAR corner. we see Good Doc sandwiched between two cars there, the Dadson car and Jim Bob on the outside. But he makes his way through, manages to stay alive through this one. Excalibur through and into the toe of Shizer in front. They're 4 wide through the final sector, and someone's onto the grass. It looks like it's Good Doc being shuffled out wide. Not really much that could be done there. 4 wide into that corner just doesn't go. And they're 3 wide into the final corner here as well. Womble on the inside, Excalibur in the middle. On the outside, rather, it was Bacchus in the middle. And across the line, that's the end of the race as well. Wow, we missed that coming up. Shizer takes P7, Womble P8, Jim Bob P9, Dadson P10, Excalibur 11, Moth 12, Good Dog 13, and V8 and 14. Back up the front. D-Flow has skipped away. It's 3.5 seconds. It looks like it's curtains for Lucky's Lawn Care Racing in P2. Brewer and Karen are fully at it here. Brewer goes to the inside. This could be the defensive class that we're looking to see from Pruski as usual. He's done it once already this race. Can Karen get by again? Looks to the outside of the S. Does he get the inside for the next one? No, he gets hung out too wide. Does he look for a move here into the final sector? Nothing to be done. He closes right up onto the back. All the way through. Can he do anything? We jump on board with the leader as he comes to the line, slows down, flash of the lights. Lucky crosses the line in P2. We look back at the battle for P3. Karen's got by Pruski. We've just about missed it, but something's happened there. And Pruski's slowed right up. Karen gets P3, gets himself onto the podium. Stickers in P4 and Pruitt in P5. With a 1 second penalty as well. Oh, that's because... Okay, so he was actually ahead of Stickers, but then he dropped behind after the line. But victory to D-Flow. We said it at the beginning of the race. We knew he was going to be a big challenger for the lead there. And he got it done in the end for the Racing Cars Like Legends team. So, what a race. A lot of carnage, ups and downs, battles throughout the field, especially in the mid-pack. What do you dissect to that, Good Dog?
Yeah, that was different.
Different. It's the things that boost and slipstream bring into this game, isn't it?
Yeah, people. A lot of people doing the whole. Well, I'm faster. I'm going to go down the inside with his, like it or not. Ah well.
There was a lot of aggressive racing going on, but it's all in good spirit. I think some fierce driving and a lot of big dive bombs and sends, but makes for great TV, and I think the guys just really wanted to put on a good show, and it was really great to see. So awesome stuff from everyone on track. Big congratulations to D-Flow. He is forever crowned the fastest TO in Sector 1. I presume not history, because I'm sure we've done a TO event before, and I'm sure there'll be one again, but for Season 5, D-Flow is the fastest team owner in Sector 1. So big congratulations, and congratulations to RCLL. The other podium receivers as well, Lucky's Lawn Care Racing. So the RCLL CR double podium there for the guys up the top. And Karen Unleashed for Deeds Racing. Brent will be very happy with a P3 there. Pruski in chat, great race lads, plenty of hard drive moments. It was awesome to see you defending for your life there, man. You did a really, really good job, and it was fantastic to see. And finishing P5 as well, after sitting P7 for so much of the race, a fantastic result and very well done and well deserved, I think. Living up to the Wide Hips name, of course, which we love to see. Shizer P7, Womble in P8 after numerous setbacks. He's done a fantastic job to get himself up into P8 there. Jim Bob in P9. Dadson P10, Excalibur P11, Moth P12, Good Doc P13, and V8 and P14. I'd be very interested to hear what happened to V8. He did, of course, set the fastest lap with a 14.951, but that will, of course, be boost assisted. So no extra points given for the fastest lap today, I don't think. But normally we would in the main season, which will return next week. Shameless plug. We will be back to our regular scheduled programming next week on Sunday evening as we head to Spa-Francorchamps in the Porsche 911 RSR, the main series, Next Level Racing, sponsored as well as by Auto One for the second category as well. So looking forward to some more fantastic racing, getting back into it. The guys have had a fantastic break. They'll be coming back well and truly refreshed for this race at Spa in Belgium at the very famous circuit that is Spa-Francorchamps. So any closing words, good Doc?
Just thanks to everybody to jump in, and all the drivers that had a crack at it. Oh, Karen's in anyway, so I'll leave him to do it all. It's his event, so.
What did I do? Oh God!
Oh, we have an interviewee in a podium finisher, Karen Unleashed. What did you think of the race, mate?
Well, first of all, my comrade here, Pruski. Yeah, there was a box of Great Northerns on that one, so it was a brutal battle. No, but hands down, that was absolutely fun racing. So bloody enjoyed it. Sorry to Troy as well. I on the exit of NASCAR there made a bit of contact. We had such a great run. I had a great run on the exit there, and then I just had nowhere to go. So that's my stuff up, and yeah.
You're talking yourself up for beating a B-grade driver like me.
Well, there was a bit of contact up and down the field, but it was all in good spirit and some great hard racing. Fantastic broadcast, and looked good on the stream. Carbon Boy had Pruski's back all the way, with a case of Great Northerns on the line as well. He was all about it. A lot of messages there saying not to let Karen win, but in any case, it was a P3 for Karen, so a fantastic job all round, and I think very well done. So we will see everyone next weekend for our regular scheduled programming once again, back to Spa for the Porsche series here at Sector 1. Make sure you tune in. If you haven't liked this broadcast already, make sure you do if you enjoyed what you're watching, and drop a subscribe as well so that you don't miss the next time we go live and see our fantastic series as it is next weekend. But that for now is goodbye.